And I started packing early because I was not about to leave everything to the last minute. Okay, so the big day has arrived. Well, the big period. I am moving in less than a few weeks, and there is so much to do. Now, I sort of realised that as the move date grew closer, there was a lot to do. And even though I'd been packing stealthily for about 3 months, I was still nowhere close to where I needed to be. And it's very, very daunting. I mean, I'm moving with a lot of my luggage, my dogs. I've got a bicycle as well. So I have a lot of big excess luggage that I wouldn't normally travel with. So it's just added a lot more stress to it all. And I'm having to sort of check the dogs, check all their paperwork, get the vaccinations done, get their travel crate, order that in, check the dimensions of my bicycle, check the dimensions of the crate to meet the airline requirements. So I decided to go with KLM because I had heard KLM had a good reputation in terms of transporting pets. That was the only reason I chose KLM. For me, as an airline, then neither here nor there. I just chose them primarily because of my dogs and because they were very good with animals and checking and in terms of any issues and whatnot. Okay? So I chose KLM. I booked my tickets quite a few weeks prior. So all that was left was just adding the extra luggage, adding all my extra stuff. And I think another issue that was really concerning for me was trying to decide what to take and what not to take. Now, initially, I was trying to pack absolutely everything, and it was an absolute nightmare. And I was trying to pack everything because I sort of reckoned it was easier to just take your stuff with you rather than having to buy all the extra stuff when you got to the other side. But I realized how difficult it really was in reality, and I just had to try and sell stuff and give stuff away. And that's where it got really interesting. I had to buy a special type of dog crate. It was airline regulated. It came via Amazon, and interestingly, it arrived with a little crack. And I would not have seen the crack, but because my colleague told me to check the case thoroughly, because when the delivery guy brought the parcel, I wasn't actually around, and my colleagues got it for me at the school. But they said he was quite rough with it, so they wanted me to go through the case. And when I did, we discovered a crack. My eagle-eyed colleague discovered a crack. It was a very small crack, and I believe that the crate would still be usable, but I did get a full refund from them, so that was that. Getting the crate together was pretty easy, and it was pretty roomy as well. My packing is going crazy. I'm trying to take as much as possible with me. Now, when I tell people I'm trying to take as much as possible with me, they get very, very like, don't you have things there? Can't you buy it there? Oh, do you not have these amenities? I'm like, no, don't be stupid. Everything's expensive at the moment, and what I don't want to do, because what I want to do is get there and hit the ground running and just keep working, because I have my own room, my own space, my own workspaces. And even things like the Kongs, I can't even get them here where I am. I can only order them from Western Europe. And here, if they were to be here, they'd be very, very expensive because these are so expensive right now. So for me, the Kongs are like, gold dust and stuff. These are lovely dog leashes I bought in Kenya for my dogs, and they're amazing. And I want to keep using them. And I just think just look at them. Look at the beadwork on them, man. Yeah, just showing off the beads. Look at that. Kenyan craftsmanship, right? I just love it. It's so beautiful. And I got that in Kenya. And, all these things. These are my dog's jumpers. So these are my dog's clothes. A Kong for a puppy. Raffles has had this since she was a puppy. She doesn't use this anymore, but I'm gonna get more dogs, So all this, it's just very good quality stuff that I've had for years. These Kongs, this one, and even these two in here, that one and that one, I've had them for 12 years. I've had them since Raffles was my first dog. My Bunny is coming. So the Bunny
is going to stay in the crate with the dogs. I think that is allowed. I'll have to ask with KLM. I have one dog bowl there. I have to get another. And that's the Kong. And that's a cooling mat. Now, I'm not sure about the cooling mat. Because when they touch down in Lagos, it's going to be hot. Like tropical hot. But it's hot here as well at the moment, and they're coping. So I'm considering getting this out because it's a cooling mat. But I don't want a situation where they get, frazzled on the plane and then, maybe chew something. So I might just take this out. And right now it's in there, but I might just take this out and just put a blanket. But I don't want it to be too hot, I don't know. I have to think about it. Anyway, so I'm trying to do as much as possible. So all these I'm packing because I'm not going to use them. Why do I need a jumper though? Hang on. This is correct. Oh. Yeah, I'm going to a warm country. Okay, that's fair point. I don't need a jumper. But I'm just trying to take as much as possible. That's Raffles' favourite ball. I'm packing it away now because I've got friends coming, and what I don't want is like a last minute packing situation where I start to panic. And I'm still working as well, so everything's still going on. That's a ball there. Yeah. So like I just don't see the point of buying twice. And these are very good quality toys that they have, and they're just like, this has been around as well 12 years. And it's not a sentimentality thing. It's more about the quality. This is a Kong as well, and the Kong brand is just very, very good. So why the hell, that's a bit dirty, but why the hell would I just chuck it? Why would I just give it away? Fuck no, I'm taking all my shit with me, man. So yeah, excuse the ugly luggage. This is my cousin's old suitcase I nicked when I was coming back from Lagos. But this is more of a 32 kilo suitcase, so I think I might have to deal with that. This is two my neighbours gave me, and my neighbours, like, this is not normal behaviour, but they had to, I just mentioned to her that I needed extra suitcases and I needed to buy some, and she was like, no. Oh, it's just I just love amazing, warm people. These people are from Kazakhstan. She said, no, let me speak to my husband. We have spares that we don't use them. They're dirty, they're dusty. I said, I don't care. It's to carry stuff, because I'm not trying to, it's not a fashion show. I'm not trying to look all glamour and glossy. It's to get my stuff across the ocean and, Northern Africa and Europe. So they gave me those two, and that's amazing so those can be disposed of when I get there. That one's very dusty. That one's a bit cracked, but I think it can stand the journey. And then I've got a duffel bag. So I'm planning on two, because my personal allowance says two, one. So that's you can have two pieces of hand luggage. So that's going to be one piece of hand luggage, another. That's going to go under the seat in front of me. That's going to go in the overhead cabin. I rarely ever use the overhead cabin, but I'm going to have to do it on this occasion, so I can take more with me. So I'm going to try to pay for 1, 2, 3, 4, and then 2 more. So to make 6 cases, I'm going to pay extra for, and I'm going to have my allowance of 2. And I hope that's enough. And I'm hoping that I can just use boxes instead. I'm going to refine it better because I've just dumped stuff in there. But I'm hoping I can just use boxes instead, because I've still got that stuff to pack. And I'm actually wondering if this is allowed on a plane, if you know what I mean. If it's decompressed or whatever, I don't know. So I've got to find out about that, if it's safe or not. Otherwise, I'll have to just dump the bags, which is fine. Or just take the bags with me, but empty them out. But I just need a way of taking all my cushions and pillows with me and everything. And that's it. So I just need to figure out this lot. So that, and that one. And my writing station as well. All the stuff there. But it's not much. It looks like a lot. It's actually not very much. These are posters I ordered from an artist in New York. I think she's like an AI artist, which is cool. But these I'm going to take out of the frame. The frames aren't going to come with me. I'm going to just get frames there. And that, I love that one. And I've never been able to put it in a proper place. And I've got that one as well at the back. And this one is my least favourite, this one. But these are all IKEA, and then I've got the smaller ones back there. These are all IKEA frames, but they're just so poorly made. Oh my god, oh shit. And that's it for now.
So this is several days later, a lot has gone on, and the packing is going well, but then you know when you're packing and there's still so much stuff in the apartment, this was the point where I started to realize that nothing was actually getting moved, because I was trying to hold on to a lot of stuff, so I had to start making very difficult decisions. I gave away my dog blankets and my dog beds because I had friends who had new dogs or just newly adopted dogs and needed beds and whatever. So that was a good idea. And I wasn't planning on taking all that stuff with me anyway. So I wanted to give it away to someone, but I wanted to just give it away rather than going through the whole spectacle of trying to sell it and trying to sell stuff. My issue, I think, was trying to give things away because obviously it's more common to just sell things or sell items one at a time, but I just find that very, very tedious, very exhausting, very tiring, especially in this climate where people are a bit strapped for money and they don't want to spend money on anything. So there's always a lot of bartering going on. And then I was trying to spend time booking the dogs onto the flights as well, which is a challenge in itself because you have to contact the airline and let them know what you want to do before you actually do it. And then they have to put you on the plane and then you actually have to pay afterwards. So it was a bit of a complex process than it needed to be. And just trying to like put stuff away, get stuff in the hand luggage, seal stuff off. I began to realize I needed to make more drastic decisions in terms of what I was taking with me and what I was leaving behind. So enter my lovely friend and neighbor from Kazakhstan and her husband, who are absolutely amazing. And I sort of told them, I have all this stuff. I want to give stuff away. I don't know what to do. And then they came in and started helping me out. And if you look at this room now, there's a marked improvement. I mean, a lot of stuff has actually gone. And one of my friends came and took one of my fold-over sofa beds. So that was a big relief. And he's using it. So it's gone to a good home, good cause.
When you are there, it's very dry cold. Can you imagine dry cold? It's not this wet.
At this point, it's a bit of a relief. Now I'm just focusing on the bicycle, taking it apart. I was not able to get a proper bike bag for it, or bike box, so I could only get a bag. And the bag I got was it had good reviews-ish on Amazon, but you could tell it was going to be a single use, or maybe I'd use it twice and that'd be it, because it was a fabric bag, and fabric bags and bicycles and airlines don't really go well together. I mean, I just could not get a box, and the box I did want to get was sold out for several months, so it would have arrived several months after I left. However, I went forward with a lot of positivity, took the bike apart with some help because the front wheel had to come off and that freaked me out a bit. Taking all the panniers off as well and the frames and the pedals as well. They were very, very clear about what they wanted off, what had to come off, and it all fit perfectly in the bag, which was great, but I was more worried about protection and the protection of the actual bicycle. And then the lovely gifts started pouring in from students and some fellow teachers as well. And it was lovely. And it's just so nice to know that you're going to be missed. Well, it sort of added to my packing because I realised I had to get rid of it all, especially the alcohol. And this is the beautiful timeline and beautiful view I've had for the last 3 years now, every evening, even come rain, sun, whatever. And I've been grateful for it. I've been grateful for this experience living here, experiencing a bit of the culture, the people, the very nice wine that they have, I did not enjoy the winters at all one bit. The winters were awful. So for 6 months of the year, it was fun. And for the other 6 months, it was awful. So I just could not handle the absolute cold and the dark of winter. And knowing that I'm leaving just before winter comes is a bit of a relief, because I know I don't have to go through it. Because I think I did suffer from seasonal depression, if that's what it's called, quite a few times. And it did get really dark a few times. I know I keep talking about my neighbour, but this was, I believe, the last night.
No.
Yeah, this was the night before I was supposed to depart. So it was very, very desperate. She came and just got down with me and just helped me shift a whole load of crap. She was making me meals and just inviting me down to her flat and having me eat with her and her husband, because obviously with all the packing, I was trying to order food, but it's not very convenient. So she was just making me meals or bringing me food, and it was amazing. And it's just amazing to have that kind of support when you're trying to move as well. I mean, look at the kitchen. It's pretty much empty. She's helped me clean out everything. And it's just, I would not have been able to do it without her. She helped me clean quite crazily. She helped me, basically going through all the cupboards and everything, convincing me on like what to take, what not to take. She convinced me I did not need to take the fillers, the cushions, the cushion inserts. And I was very obsessed with taking them with me. And she was just very good at convincing me what needed to be taken and what should just be left behind. And she and her husband are moving into a flat, into a lovely house actually, that they just bought. And I just said to them, look guys, what do you want? And basically a lot of the good furniture, a lot of the plates, the really nice stuff, they took stuff for their pets as well, for their dog. So it was great, and she got all my plants as well, and that's my flat, empty right now. Now, this is where the real fun and chaos began. I got my first connecting flight into Amsterdam, and then all flights were cancelled or we had missed connections. So I got into a bit of a mess with hundreds of other people. I think it was the worst experience in KLM history, where we were all stranded. We had to book hotels, so we booked the Sheraton for the first night. I was in the Sheraton. The dogs loved it because they got to get a very bougie breakfast with sausages and eggs, because I'd had no food plans for them. The second night in a row, we had to stay there as well because we couldn't actually get onto the plane because it was all backed up because of all the misconnections and the cancellations. People who go through this regularly, I take my hat off to you. I would never want to do it again. I ended up spending about 3 nights. Yes, I spent about 3 nights in Amsterdam. The hotels were very, very expensive by the airport. I had to stay at the Sheraton for the first 2 nights. And the third night, I had to stay at the Ibis hotel because I just couldn't afford it. And I'm still waiting to get lots of compensation and money back. But it was a nightmare. I never want to go through it again. And honestly, it's given me second thoughts about flying with KLM. Now, the dogs were all right. I managed to get them after the first misconnection. They wanted to keep them in a pet hotel. I said, no way, I want to see my dogs, I don't care. On the last day, we managed to get on the flight, and the security ladies were amazing at Amsterdam airport. The dogs loved them. The dogs were a lot more relaxed on the third day when we were catching the flight. And we got onto the plane eventually, but it was harrowing and it was very, very stressful indeed. Here we are just waiting to board the flight, just waiting with trepidation. So many people were waiting as well. And I'll tell you what, people arrived 6 hours before check-in started. You're supposed to check in 3 hours before your flight. We got in 6 hours before check-in was officially supposed to start. That is how desperate we all were. And I met people on the same queue who were waiting from 3-4 days ago. There was this poor Canadian guy who had to spend 3 nights at the Sheraton to a lot of money. And here we are, safely arrived in Nigeria, and the dogs were happy, tired, a bit confused about the whole thing and why on earth we chose to spend 3 nights in hotels. But the important thing is we made it back. without much incident apart from the cancellations and the misconnections. But you know what? I did it. We've arrived, we're safe, we're well. Guinness was a bit stressed out because he didn't like the idea of being in the box, but because he was there with Raffles, it was all good. He loves being with her, and she doesn't mind him too much. So I think it was very, very comforting for him. I would not want to fly with dogs again unless I was going on a direct flight. No connections. I'm never ever doing connections again. That's just too risky. But obviously, to get from Budapest back to Lagos, I did have to take a connecting flight. And I will say that the folks at Budapest airport were amazing, so professional. But in this instance, Amsterdam airport was absolutely awful. But apparently it was the worst day in their history. So I arrived, started to settle in, arrange my room, and just relax. The first thing I did when I got there was I bought this plant. I don't know what happened. The next morning I woke up, went for a drive, and got this plant. I think I just missed plants. And all my plants I gave away to my lovely neighbours and friends because they deserve them. But I just missed plants again. So I'm hoping to do lots of decorating in the next few weeks and just making this space my own. I am kind of living back at home with family and my mum and everything else. So it's a different vibe, but it's fun. I know a lot of people in the West don't like the idea of living with family. For us in Africa, and I think Asia as well, it's easy. We don't think about it too much because it's just always fun and it's like a homecoming. And yes, so the next few weeks and months will just be settling in, trying to find my way, trying to find good groomers again, good dentists and doctors and that sort of thing. I'm just trying to do all the paperwork and everything else involved in a move. But yes, I am grateful that I made the flight back. The 3 days in Amsterdam around the airport was a learning experience, and I never want to take a connecting flight with 6 items of luggage, a bicycle, and pets ever again in my life. That was a huge, huge lesson to learn. Okay, guys. Until next time. Bye.